Welcome to the Bourbon Van. I'm Phil. It's Whiskey in the Van Wednesday, and today we're trying the 2020 limited release Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Barrel Proof Rye. So if you've been watching the channel for a while, you probably already know, but we are huge fans of the Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Barrel Proof Tennessee Whiskey. Outside of that bottle, we really don't drink Jack Daniel's. However, we got the opportunity to pick up this bottle of the 2020 limited release of their Single Barrel Barrel Proof Rye. We just couldn't pass it up. This is a $65 bottle, aged 7 years, proof 131.8. This is gonna be a hot rye. It is a 2020 limited release. I'm excited to try it. Let's rip into this thing. Squeaky pop, that's not my favorite. Beautiful bottle though. I love the style of these bottles. Gorgeous whiskey, gorgeous bottle. Let's get right into it and check out the nose. So for a rye, this is really interesting right off the bat. There's almost like a mint chip ice cream here. Caramel, sugary chocolate, milk chocolate. I'm getting more charred oak now that it's opening up. And dark dried fruit, maybe a raisin, probably raisins. And a sweetness that's sort of like dark molasses, but not altogether spicy. Being a rye, I kind of expect this to be really spicy. Maybe the proof point of 130 is tamping down that nose. And if that's the case, then I suppose we have to taste it. Cheers. Okay, it's definitely a rye. That spice is really, really incredible. Not just tingly, though it is tingly. Not just spicy, though it is spicy. It's got nice flavor there. There's more complexity there than just straight rye spice. The oak is really surprising on this. I think this is probably one of the oakier ryes that I've had. It seems to be baking spices here. That molasses is really starting to come through. I got some of that oak char on the nose, and on the palate, that's coming through as really nice, soft, sweet oak. This might be the oakiest rye I've ever had. This is really interesting stuff. I'm going in for a second sip. We'll see what else we find. Oh, this is really interesting stuff. There's definitely nuttiness here, which you would expect from Jack Daniel's Tennessee whiskey profile, but it's really covered up in an interesting way by caramel, sweetness, the oak, the spices. This is such an interesting bottle because there's definitely spiciness here. There's some tingling and pitchiness on your palate. However, there's sweetness that's just sort of baseline there, and it is really, really nice. I'm kind of blown away by this rye right now. Let's go for another sip and see what else we find. It's so flavorful. Butterscotch, that mint sort of spearmint ice cream note is hanging around again, and the nuttiness isn't crazy peanuts or anything like that. It's really a little more complex than that. I'm getting maybe almonds and toffee. That butterscotch is so interesting though. All of a sudden on that third sip it came through, and I was enjoying this already, and now I'm really enjoying it. That for some reason I keep returning to that raisin note in the nose, even though there's so much happening on the palate. That seems to be the most consistent note that I'm getting here, and it's holding it all together really nicely. Also important to note, this does not drink like 130 proof whiskey. Wow, this is dangerous stuff. Delicious though. One more sip and then let's talk about the finish. So there's just a hint of that bubblegum, peanut, toffee finish you get from the Single Barrel Barrel Proof Tennessee whiskey. This rye really is its own product. That butterscotch hangs around, the dark fruits hang around. The nuttiness on the finish is totally subdued, more like peanut brittle. The one thing I am still getting there is a touch of that toffee, bubblegum flavor on the finish, and I bet as this bottle works its way down past the shoulder level here, more and more of that is going to show up, and probably more of the peanuts as well if it's anything like other Jack Daniel's bottles that I've had. I have to say I'm really, really impressed by what they're doing with their single barrel program and their barrel proof program. It's making me think that I probably need to try more Jack Daniel's products at this point. I'm stunned by the depth of color. I'm stunned by the nose. I'm stunned by the amount of flavor on the palate and the cohesiveness of the finish. There's so much happening here, but it's done so well. This is a super impressive bottle of whiskey. It's a really impressive rye. So I suppose we have to talk about the value of this bottle. $65 seems a little steep at first blush, but this is a single barrel product, barrel proof, 130 proof. It is a limited edition product. My understanding is they only do one of these single barrel barrel proof ryes every year, so when it's gone, it's gone. So it is a rare product. The $65 price point doesn't bother me for this bottle. I think the experience you get from this bottle, from the nose to the palate, even the appearance, it's beautiful whiskey. $65 seems like the right idea, and maybe it's even a deal at that price. Compared to other bottles, $65 will get you a Jack Daniel's single barrel proof Tennessee whiskey. We love that bottle. There's no doubt that this is a similar value to that bottle. This is a totally different product than the Tennessee whiskey, and I think it's worth having both on the shelf simply because they're so unique, so different from one another. You could compare this to Elijah Craig Barrel Proof at the $60 price point. It's just so different from that product. And if you want to talk about ryes that are similarly priced, the only thing that's priced real similarly in my mind is the E.H. Taylor rye, which is a bottled and bond 100 proof product. It's aged approximately 9 years or so, they say. I have to be honest, comparatively, I think this is a more unique, interesting bottle. It's $5 less than that. To put this in even more perspective, Sagamore Cask Strength Rye sells for 80 bucks. I haven't tried that one yet. It would have to be really, really good to be a better value than this one at $65. So if it's not obvious, this bottle blew me away. And if you have another bottle that you prefer in that $65 price range, somewhere near that price point, definitely let us know in the comments, and let us know if you got this bottle, what you think of it. Thank you for watching this video and hanging in there with me while I have my mind blown by this product. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so. Hit that bell so you never miss a notification from us. Obviously, I've got a little more work to do on this glass, and I think I should probably go in and share some of this with Julie at this point. From wherever we are to wherever you are, cheers.